My name is John Campbell, also known as JJ. I'm the pit master at Barbeque in Helotes, Texas. Am I missing something? And thankfully, I wear contacts, so it kind of doesn't bother me nearly as much. But so what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna start getting the smaller items on the pit. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and we're gonna start with the chicken, turkey, spare ribs. Get those on. Get the briskets on. Any chop, pork, anything like that, I gotta get on, and hopefully I can get it on within like the next hour or so I can move on to other things. Like I said, it's a one-man operation, so get here about 4 o'clock in the morning, start getting things rolling, allocating things for our 2 food trucks, get my sides going, and yeah, man. In a lot of ways, I've become a bit of a butcher with like trimming briskets and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's probably my favorite thing to do is, it's about an hour where I'm standing still. And I can stand at the table and just really focus on getting the briskets correct. And making sure there's enough fat around them, taking off any excess stuff. That's kind of the fun part about it. There's not a lot anymore that kind of makes me feel like an old school chef like I was trained to be. Like, it's a lot more butchery and stuff like that, and not so much, working a French brigade or something like that.
Sure. You used to have a background?
Yeah, so I graduated from the Art Institute back in 2017, and with my bachelor's degree in culinary management, and then I've also been in just kitchens since I was 21. So I've been doing it now about 17 years. And yeah, I've just been in kitchens, high-end places, caterings, working at a school, feeding college students, working at your local diner, steakhouses, just kind of hopping all over the place trying to find my niche, and then landed with the food trucks and doing stuff like that, and really kind of fell in love with it there and kind of just lucked out. And got with one that was close to opening a brick and mortar, and been here for 11 years now. I actually just had my anniversary of the first gig I did with them. Yeah, so back in 2014. It's a fun business, man. It's a different level of cooking, that's for sure. Everything takes time. Once you're done, there's really no keeping up. Hopefully you just sell out and you can close for the day, but this is the one line of business that, once you're out, because everything takes so long. I mean, I don't have an extra 6 hours in the day to cook more chicken or things like that. Usually on the weekends, we'll have a line out the door all day. It's first come, first serve. And yeah, we'll go heavy that day and have, 30 briskets, 40 briskets, depending on what we need. We got caterings going out the door, stuff like that. This is a very primitive, I think it kind of tickles something in your DNA, about being a caveman with a piece of meat on a spit. Yeah, I think there's something real close to, as close to your ancestors as you can get about like cooking meats and stuff like that. And especially something like this, which has such a long tradition. And, some of these pieces of meat, like the brisket, weren't considered high-end pieces of meat. They were, back in the day, it's like they thought it was trash. And then they discovered that if you buried it in the ground, kind of like barbacoa, and you cooked it for a long time, it became tender and juicy and all these different things, So the profile on brisket's gone up a lot in the past, I don't know, 20 years. People now see it as a kind of a one and only thing that you can only get done right in Texas.
So, and you said you started with this company?
Originally when I moved on to doing food truck work, I was kind of a food truck whore. I would hop from truck to truck, help out whoever I could help out, build my schedule out over the week, and just help whoever needed it and was willing to pay, so I was hopping around. I did some stuff with B-Daddies. Primarily, I was the operator of a truck called Sriracha. A good guy named Cody Pham, who's actually my realtor now. And he was doing Vietnamese food. And been working with him about a year and a half, and I had met BR, the owner of B-Daddies, through that, because we were park mates at the Block, which is a food truck park over off UTSA Boulevard. And we were food truck mates with those guys. And so sometimes I'd help him out if he had a big gig coming out. But mostly I was with Cody. Well, there was I don't know, like a blow up happened between people on the B Daddy's truck and their kind of number one guy, besides BR and his son, up and quit on them. And so we did some creative negotiating so I wouldn't leave my buddy Cody in a bind. Brought a couple guys on to help him, who eventually ended up coming to B Daddy's. We negotiated me coming over, working full-time hours, and I started with B Daddy's. And then, we did, probably worked with them about a year and a half. We went from being a food truck park to being kind of homeless and parking out in the woods behind Josabi's out here in Helotes. Cooking out in the woods. And then eventually we nailed down this place. And it's been here ever since. If I'm trying to wow people, it's going to be the brisket, the turkey, the ribs. Those are probably my 3 favorites. And then if I'm doing something special, depending on the time of the year, and if I got time, is doing like pastrami brisket, prime rib, pork belly. It's all fun stuff. It's fun to apply the technique to all aspects of any kind of cut of meat.
And what kind of rub are you putting on?
So this is a like a seasoned salt, brown sugar, a little bit of spice, black pepper, garlic mix that we get custom made from our good friends over at South Texas Spice. Gabe's incredible. He helps us. We have a bottling service, so we sell this stuff. But it's the same rub we've been using since the beginning. We actually used to put it on our briskets, but then we decided to just go to salt and pepper for brisket because you don't need to adulterate it like that. Central Texas and Texas BBQ in general, everything's done with salt and pepper. And if you kind of want to be held to the same level as everybody else, you do it like everybody else. You can add some garlic here, some seasoned salt here and there. But the go-to is, 2 parts pepper, 1 part salt. So get a nice coat on there, throw them on, and you're good to go. Let them go for a long time, wrap them up when you like the color, and then get them to that magic number of like 200 degrees or until they're soft. And so with these, really, it's like the chicken's like 4 or 5 hours, just depending on how hot I get the pit that day, or if I'm got the flue close or trying to cook a little bit hotter. Today it's kind of early, so I can kind of let them go. And they probably about 4 or 5 hours on each. Pretty much everything on this thing comes off about the same time. So, probably 5.5 hours total on everything. So I'll get them to when I like the color on them, and if they're in like the 130, 140 range, I'll wrap them up, let them finish off the rest of the way to 165, and then let them rest for a little bit, and then we'll start cutting them into them. This turkey is actually what we're kind of known for. We've gotten mentioned in Texas Monthly before about our turkey having some of the juiciest. It's not your traditional, Thanksgiving turkey. It's a nice succulent, like keep it cool. Almost turns into like deli turkey, with a nice smoke ring on it. Doesn't dry out. It's a good piece of meat. That was one of those things I had never done before I came here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And BR's son kind of came up with the idea of like, hey, just smoke them, put them in a pan, let the juices collect in there, and like I said, it's probably my favorite. One of my favorites, at least.
You guys sell out for Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah. So last Thanksgiving I did about Joel and I, my other pit master. We did about 80 turkeys, 42 turkey breasts, 25 briskets, and then meal packages for a lot of those. So we're serving mashed potatoes and gravy and dressing and all that stuff. And it's just, good day. We're here early in the morning throwing turkeys on. and getting them done. And then we just have a pickup system. We have a pickup window of like 3 hours, and everybody comes, snatches up their food, and then we're able to clean up and get out of here, so that we can go enjoy ourselves. Go get fat on turkey.
So I heard rumors that this place is haunted.
Yes, very haunted. Um, the so the front of the dining room is a World War One army barracks that was moved here back in the 20s. So that whole front of the building used to be the general store, the Helotes General Store. And then after the general store went away, it was a combination of multiple things, primarily a barbecue restaurant. It was the only thing that lasted here for a long time. It was called Hickory Hut. And Hickory Hut, I believe, was here for 17 years. And you'll still see like emblems on certain stuff around the building and stuff like that of the old Hickory Hut stuff. One of the signs out in the yard is from Hickory Hut. We just had it redone and put up on the wall, or put up in the yard. And then, but yeah, so when we bought the place, I was here late nights, doing, sanding and painting and knocking down walls, trying to get the place up and going. And you'd be completely alone. You'd hear boots on the ground walking behind you. And I mean, it's not as you'd get a cold feeling over near the bathrooms and kind of get the heebie-jeebies. And hasn't really been much of anything now. Like occasionally I'll hear those kitchen doors swing and then I'll get a cold blast across my back. And it's like, if you ever check the cameras around here, you probably hear me go, "Leave me alone." Just kind of panic and just talk to myself. I'm like, yeah, leave me alone right now. I don't know what it is, but just the history of the place. Well, my number one fear is, and I've always joked about this, is that I can see the big bay window into the dining room over there, and I'm always afraid that I'm gonna be like putting trash away or something and look up and someone will be standing in the window, and I'd call my boss and be like, "Hey man, you're gonna have to get somebody else up here to do this stuff." I am not going back in the building. We are, so we're right down we're 2 doors down from Flores Country Store, which is where a lot of big country acts come through, and it's a historic place. Willie Nelson used to play here all the time. And so, at night when we've had big shows, we've had, instances where we've had drunk people wander back here. And then when we had an overnight cook, we, one of our young kids was doing the overnight, and I guess some dude came and stumbled back here and went into our office and fell asleep.
Hey, that asshole still at barbecue. Hey!
And there just so happened to be kind of a wild night out front, so the cops were already present and taking people down for drunken public and stuff like that, people fighting. And our 19-year-old kid went to him and was like, "Hey, excuse me, like there's some guy asleep in our office." And so when they rounded everybody outside, a cop came over and was like, "Oh shit." So yeah, they came and drug him out. Yeah, so these are our pork spare ribs. What I'm doing is I'm taking the membrane off the back of this. And it's so that your ribs become loose after they're cooking, because you leave that membrane on, like you won't get a clean bite through the rib. Like the bottom will stay on, and what I'm looking for is, you don't want to fall off the bone. That technically, in most terms, that's overcooked. Yeah, so when people say, "Oh, I got fall off the bone ribs," it's like, you sure you know what you're doing? It's like, I know it's a term and I know people want it there, but the trick is you do want them fall off the bone, but you want to be able to get a good bite. So if you can bite clean through the rib, no resistance, but it stays on the bone, you're right there. That's kind of the key of what you're looking for. And of course, flavor and all that stuff. That's what's giving me trouble today.
Have you ever had like a sous chef or assistant?
So we usually have an afternoon guy. So right now it's been my buddy Joel for the past like 5 years. And he's a good kid. He's very talented in the kitchen, very clean, very efficient, gets all the prep done when I need him to. And he also opens up 2 of the days of the week when I'm on my normal 2 days off. So he's a good kid. He knows how to do all the stuff. He's very good at it. So, he kind of does it on his own on those days. And then we kind of pass work on to the people in the front. If they're slow, they'll do stuff with us like, peel potatoes or, cut seasoned briskets for us after we leave and stuff like that. So for the most part, it's just me and him. Like he'll be here later today to do the prep after I'm done. And then, we kind of run like that all weekend. Kind of a big cooperative effort, but in the mornings, it's one guy. Yeah, it's either me or Joel.
What's your favorite dish?
On the menu, I mean, we're kind of a traditional market style barbecue, so everything's kind of done by the pound, so you can kind of build your plate no matter how you want. We also offer like plates. So I mean, if it were me, I don't know. I'm kind of a traditionalist. I like some brisket, some ribs, maybe some sausage, maybe the turkey's now a new favorite because I've had ours before and I'm like, yeah, that stuff's good. I'm gonna try everybody else's. It'd probably be the beef rib. Yeah, that's probably, if you're going for like the holy trinity of things I think we do very well, it'd be those three. But I won't be doing those until tomorrow for the weekend. And we'll see how we do. Those things are Texas Wagyu, smoked the same way as a brisket, almost exactly. They're juicy. They look like we always call them the Flintstone ribs. It looks like the piece of meat that they used to put on Fred Flintstone's car and it make his car tip over.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably some of my favorite stuff.
Is JJ the pit master?
Too much.
This is essentially like my brother-in-law. I think you're doing that one about license.
Nice. All right.
If you want to go ahead and say who you are.
Hey, I'm D.R. Anderson. I own B Daddy's Barbecue. And you're doing a show about Jay, our pit master, I guess, who's been with me 11 years, and I haven't had to touch a brisket in several. He does a great job. All right.
Well, appreciate you.
Hey, man. Thank you.
All right, I want to say appreciate you guys for coming out, trying out everything we're doing here. Come out to Helotes, come visit us, and we'll fill you up.